Hi folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the Movies, finally back with you for another video. I'm really sorry it's been a little while. We had an album come out, as I've been talking about for months, and the promo for that just took over. And then when I did have a schedule of videos to get back to making, I fell ill, and I've been laid up with an absolutely dreadful bout of the flu. So I've not been able to make videos, but I was determined that I was going to make this one and that it was going to get to you by Christmas Day at the very latest. So that's the latest that you'll be seeing it. And what better topic to arrive by no later than Christmas Day than my own personal top 10 favourite Christmas movies. So this is not an objective list. This is not, to quote Carlini09, the right list. This is my personal list of my favourite Christmas holiday movies. You might agree, you might completely disagree, but let me know down below in the comments what your top 10 would be and any that we might agree on. I dare say there might be a controversial pick or two in this list, but it's just how I feel about these Christmas movies. Anyway, shall we dive in with maybe a couple of honourable mentions that didn't quite make the cut before I show you the top 10. I'm going to show you the physical media I own of the top 10, but I'll just put pictures on screen either side of me for the ones that I'm going to say are top 10 here. Or rather, the ones I'm going to say are the honourable mentions, if I could speak, eh, folks? So, the first honourable mention I shall mention and pop a little picture up here for you is going to be Miracle on 34th Street. Not the original film from back in the 50s, is it? But the 90s remake with Richard Attenborough and Mara Wilson. I love that film. It's not one that I watch every year, but I do always enjoy it when I put it on. And that was why I couldn't really put it in this list, is because it's not one that I will watch every year, whereas the ones in this list will get watched every year without question. And then the second one was one that we do watch every year, but it's one of Laura's favourites, and it's one that I came to quite late on because of Laura. And whilst I do love it and I can't deny its brilliance, there are just other films that I get more out of, and so that's why this one's an honourable mention, and that is The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Tim Burton epic, and I'll put a little picture here. So shall we dive into my top 10 then? Yeah, let's do that. In at number 10, we have another one that my girlfriend introduced me to. And really, this movie, it's nothing special at all. It's certainly no, It's a Wonderful Life or Home Alone or whatever, anything like that at all. And really, on paper, it's quite a bad movie, but I just can't help but love it. And every year when we come to put this film on, I have such a great time with it that we always come back to it and we always end up revisiting it. Like I say, it's one of Laura's favourites. She loves her sort of cheesy horror film, and the fact that there were, obviously, I know there's quite a few horror Christmas films, but there's this cheesy horror one that's linked in with Christmas, just absolutely ticks the box for her, and it does for me as well. So my number 10 spot is Krampus. And then swiftly moving on to number 9 with something a lot more classic now. Now, a lot of people's favourite version of this film is the Jim Carrey one that came out in the early 2000s. And whilst I don't mind that version at all and have it somewhere in and amongst all this lot, the version that I'm going to show you is and has always been my favourite version. It's the original animated version of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is it Boris Karloff, isn't it? Yeah, it's Boris Karloff. I'm reading it on the back there. That's the voice of the Grinch, and obviously has the "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch." And I just love it. I love the animation style. I love the way that it's sort of, it's voice acted, and the music, and just that version of the Grinch for me is the Grinch. So that takes my my number 9 spot. In at number 8, and this was one that I sort of and ahed about when I was putting it on the list, and I thought, no, do you know what? I love it. I can't not put it in. It's part of a box set, so I don't keep it with my Christmas films. I keep it in and amongst all of this lot. Normally, I keep my Christmas films separate up on the top, because obviously they don't get, they're not going to get rifled through 11 months of the year. But anyway, this one is Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Juliette Lewis, and a very young Johnny Galecki in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Absolutely adore this film. I just think it's just hilarious. It's just complete lunacy, isn't it? I love the Vacation series, all 5 movies anyway, so it's really nice at Christmas to be able to have one that you can put on every year. And the meltdown that Clark has at the end when he realises that he's not got the bonus that he was thinking he was going to get is just absolutely has me howling every year. That and Cousin Eddie as well. Swiftly moving on to my number 7. I imagine this one's probably in a lot of people's top 10s. And again, it's one that I have a lot of fun coming back to every year. And I probably got more out of this one when I was a kid, given the sort of the subject matter is Arnold Schwarzenegger's a dad running around trying to buy the last minute present that everybody else in the city wants to buy, and it's the Turbo Man doll. Of course, I'm talking about Jingle All the Way. And I always sort of loved that, and I'm really into my superheroes, as you know. And obviously at the end, he ends up sort of becoming Turbo Man, and him and the sort of the bad guy of the film, Myron, played by Sinbad, end up having a sort of a duke it out moment in sort of full superhero regalia, and like so I absolutely loved that as a kid. And then as an adult, I just loved the incompetency of Arnold's character, and I absolutely think that Phil Hartman, rest in peace, is a brilliant sort of comedic foil as well, sort of as the sleazy neighbour. I just love it. I really enjoy rewatching this one. In at number 6, this one might be one of the ones that's controversial to folk. It might not be. I could be reading the virtual room, as it were, completely wrong. But I've gone with the sequel rather than the original because I prefer it, and I don't watch the original every year, but I make sure that I watch Home Alone 2 Lost in New York every year. I find it more quotable. I find that the jokes land better. I find that a lot of the jokes in the first one, that whilst they worked and worked brilliantly, worked so much better with the city backdrop than they did just the house. You know, and sort of like the whole concept of him being alone sort of seems more plausible in New York than him being left home alone, sort of thing. I don't know. I suppose you're not really supposed to think that level of detail into it, are you really? Because it's a silly little Christmas movie. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I just find that everything works better. Sort of you know, I really like the relationship with the old man neighbour in the first one, and him being scared at first and whatever, but I find the relationship with the homeless lady in the park more endearing. And I love Tim Curry, Rob Schneider and Dana Ivey, the trio of hotel clerks. They're hilarious as well, and they make sort of great secondary, I don't know if you call them villains, but antagonists. And like I say, it just takes everything, literally a blueprint of the first one, and then just pastes it on New York, and for me it just works perfectly. So then in at number 5 we have a film that is, I don't know whether this one would be on a lot of people's top 10s, but I do see a lot of people talking about it, and it was a film for the longest time I thought I was going to hate, and in my sort of younger years, my teenage years, when I was possibly more of definitely more of a film snob than I am now, I'd sort of put off watching this and sort of almost refused to watch it because I'm not going to like that. It's a rom-com, it's for girls, it's whatever, you know, give me Die Hard, all that sort of stuff. And then I've got 2 female cousins close in age to me, and my sister's obviously close in age as well. So we've all grown up together and spent a lot of time together, and found that I was around with them. And the girls wanted to watch Love Actually. And so at first I was sort of sat there going, you know, bloody Love Actually, whatever, you know, can we not get something good on? And then found myself absolutely drawn in and captivated by all the characters. And yes, they're very two-dimensional characters, and you know, it's not a film that you can take seriously, is it, at all, and sort of think that it's this serious romantic drama. No, it's you know, it's a comedy, and like I say, it's all very two-dimensional. But I just find it all so endearing, and I love it, and you know, I love how sort of, you know, love triumphs, and in some cases it fails, and you know, I don't know, like I say, for it being very two-dimensional, it also felt quite real in places as well. And I can't really put my finger on what I like about it, but I just find it really, really enjoyable, and sort of it always leaves me with a really warm, sort of fuzzy feeling at the end. And yeah, absolutely, and an ensemble cast to die for as well. So there we are. So that's my top, my sort of you know, my 10 to 5, as it were. Now for number 4. I'm cheating a little bit here, but it's my list, so I can do what I want, really, can't I? There's no rules, is there, really? Or if there is, on this channel, I make them. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to cheat a little bit. So, in at number 4, I'm putting A Christmas Carol. And here's where I'm going to cheat, because it's really any version of the story A Christmas Carol put to film, put to animation, put to, you know, do it with sock puppets if you want. I adore that story so much. And it doesn't matter which version I'm watching, you know, it could be the Alistair Sim version, it could be the George Scott version, it could be the Albert Finney version, it could be the Kermit the Frog version. I'll cry at the end of it, and I mean, I will sob and the story moves me, and just, you know, like I say, watching it with Muppets, watching, you know, sort of, you know, Michael Caine's Scrooge get dumped and sort of his life sort of fall apart, and see why he's become the bitter, twisted old man that he is, and realise that there's a chance of redemption and whatever. It moves me. I can't describe how it moves me, but it always has done. So I wanted to show you my favourite versions. Obviously, A Muppet's Christmas Carol, and then the one with George C. Scott, A Christmas Carol. And then this one, I only came to about 2 or 3 years ago, which I'm ashamed to say, given that I'm such a fan of both Bill Murray and Richard Donner and Karen Allen. And again, this story, but it is Bill Murray in Scrooge, and I really like that take on it. And then probably, because I've watched all of them this year, the one that's been my favourite this year is Albert Finney's version of Scrooge, which is obviously the musical one, and ends with the "thank you very much" at the end of it. And yeah, it's cheesy, and yeah, it's certainly dated, and you know, some of them have aged better than others. But I absolutely love it. So like I say, that's me cheating, and my number 4 pick there is 4 different versions of A Christmas Carol. So in at number 3, this is where it might start to get a little bit dicey, folks, and you might want to start sort of booing at your screens. I hope not. But my number 3 is the superb, the almost unbeatable It's a Wonderful Life from Frank Capra. And yeah, I'm saying his name right. I had a moment, and I was like, have I just butchered the guy's name? But I haven't. So there we are. So It's a Wonderful Life, and it's got James Stewart in the lead role of George Bailey, and Donna Reed as Mary. And it's the story of George Bailey's life, and how he's always thinking of other people, and always giving up on his own dreams, or postponing his own dreams and his own happiness, to make sure that his family, his friends, his co-workers, his town, his business, everything comes first, you know, before him. And then he finally gets to breaking point, and you know, wishes that he'd never been born, and tries to take his own life. And then when he meets Clarence the Angel, he soon sees how many lives he's touched, and what a world would be like without George Bailey. Again, it's another film that never fails to move me, and you know, for a 70-year-old film, it's aged wonderfully, and just feels, you know, sort of very of its time and timeless at the same time, if such a statement makes sense. And like I said, I think its message is fantastic. I absolutely adore that film. So that's my number 3 pick. And then in at number 2, this one's definitely going to be controversial, but it's Die Hard. So there's no point beating around the bush for this. For me, this is a Christmas movie, and I understand there are arguments that it isn't, and it's just an action movie and can be enjoyed any time of the year, and just has Christmas as the backdrop. Respect that argument. I'm not gonna get into it here. For me, it is a Christmas movie. I have watched this before, say in the summer, but I don't feel comfortable watching it in the summer. I don't get the same out of it. You know, when you've got Joy to the World and Jingle Bells orchestral versions playing and whatever else, and you know, he's there because he's trying to reconcile at Christmas and do whatever else. Like I say, to me, it speaks to me as a Christmas film. And when I have watched it sort of through the year, it just sort of gives me a faux Christmassy feeling, which I don't want. But I absolutely love watching this film in December, and its sequel as well. You know, the first sequel, Die Hard 2, set in the airport as well. Watched that one just the other night, actually, while I was in bed with this flu that hopefully is not coming across too much in my voice. But yeah, I absolutely love it, you know, and again, the story to me feels classic Christmas, like man trying to reconcile, win his family back, you know, at Christmas, and because it's Christmas, that's why he's doing it, sort of thing. It's balls to the wall action, isn't it? It's crazy action, and it's, you know, one of the most sort of quotable sort of action films of the 80s and 90s. Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman performances are just top notch in it. It's just brilliant, and that's why it's my number 2. So we've made it to number 1. And I've made it to number 1 on this list, I think, without making any sort of mistakes or any hiccups. I don't think I'm going to have to do any jump cuts on this, which is just amazing, because I really thought I was going to have to do some. But my number 1 pick is a film that me and my sister went to see the week it came out in the cinema with my mum, my cousins and my auntie, and I fell in love with that film then, and I've loved it ever since. The following Christmas we got the DVD, which is a DVD that I still have somewhere just over there in the Christmas box. In fact, can I reach it to show you? Yes, I can indeed. So I've got the DVD here, and this is the DVD until this year that I've played since I was probably about, I don't know, 10 years old to now, 30 years old. Every year that DVD goes on, and to surprise me this Christmas, my lovely girlfriend Laura wanted to treat me to an upgrade of the 4K that's just come out, and that is for Elf. So Elf is my #1 pick for favourite Christmas film of all time. I love the story, it's a fish out of water story, isn't it? Obviously, Buddy, he's grown up thinking he's an elf in the North Pole under Santa Claus and Papa Elf all his life. And then when he's 30, he finds out that he's actually, his real dad is Walter Hobbs, who's a mean bloke on the naughty list and lives in New York City. So he goes on an adventure to New York to meet his new family, meet his real dad, and learn about them and learn about sort of living a human life. And, it's the hijinks and the nonsense that ensues along the way. And I really love it. Buddy learns and Buddy grows as the story goes on, and he finds love and he gains a family with his dad and with Mary and with Michael. But the dad character grows as well and learns, and he sort of ends up coming off the naughty list at the end of the film, and it's they both save each other. And I think it's a kid's film ultimately, and it's probably not meant to be looked at in that level of detail. But as I've grown up with the film and sort of started to look at it through maybe a more critical lens, as we do as film buffs, and that's what I take away from it as well. So yes, there's heaps of nostalgia there, and I've got memories of snuggling up with my lovely granny, my dad's mum, and my sister on Christmas Eve, and the three of us watching that while mum and dad were upstairs wrapping presents and pretending to be Santa and doing whatever else. And like I say, if my sister can, she'll join us most years to watch it now. But, a tradition I carry on with Laura, and that the film just really speaks to me, and will forever be my favourite Christmas film, bar none. So there we are, folks. That's been my top 10 Christmas list of favourite movies to watch at Christmas, or whatever you want to call it, whatever I end up calling this video. I'm not going to cut that out and take it again because it's Christmas and we're going to do this a bit more relaxed. I hope you've enjoyed the list. Leave me a comment, like I said earlier, down below with your own list, or any that we agree on or that we disagree on. I'd be really interested to read your own. Don't forget to drop the video a thumbs up if you've liked it. Lets YouTube know that you like these sort of videos so that I can keep making them for you. And if you are new to my channel, hello and Merry Christmas as well. Please think about subscribing to the channel so that I can keep you around for future videos that I make in 2023. And of course, we can get to know each other over those videos as well. Above all else, folks, as I've just said, Merry Christmas to you all if you're celebrating, and a very happy and healthy 2023 to all of you as well. I might get some videos out in between Christmas and New Year, but I'm on holiday and we'll be seeing family and friends, so I won't make any promises. If I do, I'll see you then, and if not, I'll see you bright and early in the new year for some very fun videos that we've got coming up. Take care of yourselves. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.